I perceive that there is a heavenly arising that is in you supernaturally, but in order for you to perceive it, you have to take in and heed and obey to every conscious thought that God has for you. In order to do so, you really just got to achieve a standpoint that is on a risen, my God, stand like time frame. And so it's not going to come from the things of this world. It's not going to come from a physical hour. It's not going to come from manna. It's not going to come from comfort. It's not going to come from what you used to. It's not going to come from what you always have done. It's going to come with certain things that's extraordinary. It's going to come with you doing certain things that makes you branch out, makes you go out, makes you walk and climb a lot a bit taller and where you used to see yourself from. It's going to make you be obedient. It's going to make you do certain things to follow and heed to the instructions that God has for you. The things that happen in this world of how we tend to, my God, have certain things happen to us and we don't know which way we should go. We don't always understand exactly where we should go and how things may turn up. But my God, if we choose to partner with Christ, he does. If we choose to walk by faith and not by sight, if we choose to do certain things and we choose to not wrestle with the spirit of fear and we give the doubt over to, my God, Jesus, I was going to say God, but baby, the only way to him is through Jesus. And if we give it over to him, we're protected heavily. I'm telling you, so much so that these things that happen in our life is extraordinary. I just met someone today and she was like, I was just asking God to send me somebody, send me some help and send me this, that, and the third. And baby, when she came towards her direction of where she was going, she ended up seeing exactly what she asked God for. And I want to tell you at this time right now, through certain things or seasons in your life, how everything is being strategically ordained from Abba because of the direction that you choose to flow in through free form of understanding that he got your back, that he got you. He says late in the midnight hour, God will turn it around. There's a seed offering here today. There's a seed offering here today in this hour where God is saying, hey, late in the midnight hour, God's going to turn it around. He's going to work in your favor. And so as you choose to obey, as you choose to believe, as you choose to grow, as you choose to notice that it's not through your own strength that you can do anything, my God, and everything, but it's through Jesus Christ's strength. It's through I can do all things through me who strengthens me. That's the way that we take an incline. That's the way that we route. That's the way that we walk by faith and not by sight. That's the way that we choose the speed that we need in order for us to increase so the valley can grow, so the garden can grow, so it can be restored again. That's the entirety of everything that God has intended for us. And so as we truly understand that, you never know how God is going to use you. You never know how God is going to stretch you. You never know how God is going to shake you until you go into obedience. But you never know who needed the obedience that you chose to do and obey for God to use and move them for the next breakthrough in the next hour. But see, when you chose to follow the instructions of Abba, when you chose to be confident in the things that God told you, be my God, what do God say? He says in Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Hear me though. And so when you start to do things like this, you start to understand that every single detail of your story will catastrophically, my God, make sense as you're going forth. And I'm trying to tell you, it will flow so effortlessly that you would never even have to worry about, you wouldn't have to worry about those things physically that you used to worry about. Every single detail of your life will be exposed in such a marvelous light that you know that it was Jesus who orchestrated the entirety of every single detail strategically so you don't miss. And I'm telling you, when you step into the light, it's like stepping into the portal of heaven and you get a piece of your dwelling place. My God, can't nobody tell us, hear me now, who can make it to heaven but God. And so as we know that, baby, we want to be a lot of bit smaller. But see, when we are a lot of bit smaller and we looking like, okay, it's the Garden of Eden restored. Wasn't nobody there but Jesus. Baby, I ain't see nobody in there but Jesus. But baby, what was Eve at, child? I don't know. Because in the Garden of Eden restored, all I seen was Jesus. And I'm trying to tell you, when you see Jesus, baby, every single detail end up being truthfully made. So much so that the royal honor, starts to elevate you. In every direction. And even the people who didn't like you, starts to like you. know, because it starts to look like favor. He says, just like Hannah, he favored her. My God, when she started to take the incline, every single detail of her story represented the incline of God as she started to proclaim God over everything. Baby, she was starting to do the enrichment of God, what God did when he blessed her. Hear me now. God looking to bless you, but you got to start to obey him. You got to start to follow and heed to the instructions. You got to find your way out of no way, being the way, the truth, and the life, which is Jesus, which is an extraordinary hour and breakthrough. When you take and heed to his voice, when you take heed to the ministering, when you take heed to the videos, when you take heed to where God sent you in your word, when you take heed to where he ordered your steps, baby, when you start to discern the atmosphere and you start to see when things breaking off and chains are breaking off and barriers that was trying to keep you bound is breaking off, when you see a little space open up. Baby, when I'm talking about space, if you're looking for a physical space, you just might get lost, or you just might be in a standpoint where you get stuck. But if you start to look in a supernatural way and you start to see God can open up time, God can cause a rescue like he did with Pharaoh, and he opened up the time for Israel to walk through and get their word, get their truth, get their way where they can get up out of there, hear me now, and never look back. And when you start to do things like that, baby, whatever was supposed to be attached to the enslavement got to stay in the back, and God will close the water on it as long as you heed and obey to the sound of his voice. Just like Jesus came down. Hear me though, it said a man though. That's what it said in the Bible. That was the angel of the Lord, I believe. We got to go back and read. I'm going to paraphrase it because I haven't seen him in a while, but I read it before. Go and read Revelations. But in the Garden of Eden restored, there will be a tree with fruits and healing, and everything was all coming down the middle. There was a man coming down the middle of that thing. Hear me though? And see, it was a restoring happening. As the restoring was happening, I want you to go catch my video where I did a video and God had me prophesy this a few months ago, child, unrecognizable. Don't even look the same like I was then, because God keep changing me. I can't even keep up. Hear me though? I'm trying to tell you, like, every single detail of my story, just by being obedient and following his will for my life, he started to make me eat certain things, and baby, I start to just, my God, every single detail change inside and out. And I'm telling you, just picking up the speed of the Bible, just fasting according to what he told me, just doing certain things the way that he did, it happened for me. Hear me now? The things I was asking him for other seasons happened in a season that I wasn't even expecting them to happen. But when he did it, he added measures to it. When he did it, he added so many different circumferences that it was going to represent him inside and out. And so this is what I want y'all to say. I ain't trying to get y'all to lose focus, but baby, I want y'all to know that there are certain seasons in our life that represents God in certain ways that we need to stretch even more every day of our life. And there are certain seasons that we are inquiring, asking God, Lord, what I got to do to get there? What I got to do to get there? It's in your word is how you get there. It's in your word. Hear me now. And listen, it's in your word. You know what's for you. God told me, he said, this season, you ain't going to be able to deny what he's saying to you. It's going to be flat out truth. You ain't going to be able to deny if it's him. Your little flesh be trying to flesh and be trying to say, did I hear that right? Because you don't want to feel like getting up or doing what he's telling you to do. But baby, your flesh going to have to sit down in the back seat in the back row 7 times fold. Hear me now, like what an enemy at, where we put the stupor out of heaven to let you know that at the time when God speaks, baby, you going to just know, because he going to you through you. Hear me though, that part.